Chapter 8: Streaming. The streaming behemoth Twitch can trace its lineage back to Justin TV, a website founded in 2007. The site hosted an always-on live stream broadcasting the everyday life of one of its co-founders, attracting a host of curious viewers, pranksters, and media attention. By 2008, the site had expanded, giving users the ability to host their own stream in a number of categories. 3 years later, the site's gaming category was spun off into its own website, Twitch TV. After a period of meteoric growth over the last decade, Twitch sits at almost 2 million concurrent viewers on average as of this writing. At least for now, Twitch maintains its status as the cultural locus of streamed gaming content. Within the ecosystem of services like Twitch, there is a constant competition to secure viewers in the onslaught of eyes searching for game content. Content creators strive to be the best at playing, providing commentary, engaging with viewers, or creating humor and interesting situations. But this contest isn't just for the people who are streaming games, it's also for the developers of those games. In the streaming economy, the success of a game is dependent on the experience it creates for both players and an audience of potentially millions. The race to attract all of those eyeballs starts with an understanding of why people watch gaming streams in the first place. As a designer, you might already have a solid understanding of several reasons contributing to the appeal of playing games. But why would anyone watch games when they could choose to play games instead? Answering this question requires that we pin down viewer motivations. One of our most useful tools here is to examine what type of content is most popular within the space, identifying commonalities that can help us verify and expand on the reasons that people watch. As of this writing, the regulars on Twitch's top games are League of Legends, a MOBA, World of Warcraft, an MMO, Fortnite, a battle royale shooter, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a multiplayer shooter, and so on. The vibrant communities who support these games, driving their developers to provide regular updates years after release, provide the viewership to sustain their continued domination on platforms like Twitch. In combination with our existing knowledge of why people play games and the appeal of things like watching sports, we can look to these games and others like them in understanding a few different motivations key to the appeal of game spectatorship. Watching gameplay can provide a welcome escape from everyday obligations. Watching someone else play a game can be fun, interesting, and relaxing. Watching a game instead of playing yourself can have several advantages. In many ways, streamed content is easier to consume. You can't play games while working at a computer or folding laundry, but watching a stream can provide a welcome background to your work. Streams in general demand less attention than a movie or television show, meaning that they can be an effective diversion, like music, without distracting too much from the task at hand. Watching games offers some of the same draw as watching sports. You might enjoy watching to admire the strategy and skill of players at a highly competitive level. A big part of the appeal might also be cheering for an individual or team that you associate with. Part of why the vicarious competition and victory of gaming streams can be so intense is down to the at times ludicrous stakes involved, such as tournaments where the prize pool is valued at millions of dollars. Another thing that makes competitive games watchable or rewatchable is unpredictability. Injecting strategy and competition into a game creates uncertainty. Without any uncertainty, watching the same game over and over again can easily become boring. In a competitive environment, the course of a match and its ultimate outcome are subject to all sorts of variation. This explains part of why competitive multiplayer games tend to dominate streaming platforms. Streams can offer value to viewers beyond being a playful diversion. Just by virtue of watching skilled players in a game with strategic or competitive elements, viewers can take away knowledge to benefit their next play session. Some streamers might offer commentary specifically aimed at educating interested viewers or giving advice on how to improve their own playing. Even more simply, viewers might tune into a stream to learn the basics about a particular game. If you don't have time to play a game or can't afford it, watching a stream of that game might be the next best thing. And when a game first comes out, viewers might flock to streams of that game just to see what all the hype is about. One of the reasons why you might pick up a game is because your friends are playing it. Likewise, one of the reasons you might watch a stream is because your friends are watching it. And game streams allow for real-time audience communication. Depending on the platform, viewers can chat with each other or even send messages directly to the content creators. In this way, streams can provide a casual, low-pressure way to interact with some like-minded folks. Though the chat amongst large audiences can easily descend into chaos, a small group can have a meaningful side conversation while enjoying the show. With an improved understanding of what compels people to watch streamed content, we can identify design choices that promote a game's watchability. We can observe these characteristics in existing games popular for streaming, examining how they are leveraged to create content which is easier or more interesting to consume. It would be inaccurate to suggest that a game having all the qualities explored in this section is guaranteed to become a smash hit in the streaming community. However, all the current top games on Twitch and Facebook Gaming do possess at least one of the following characteristics. Although not a magic formula by any means, we can broadly describe a few design decisions that take advantage of the reasons viewers choose to watch in the first place. The role of streaming as a convenient diversion means that viewers should be able to tune in for variable lengths of time, with the ability to jump in or out relatively quickly. This is supported by the format of many popular games, particularly multiplayer titles. Relatively short match lengths create digestible segments of content for viewers to enjoy, even if their time is limited. The sweet spot seems to be an average of around half an hour. Though match lengths can vary, this type of range gives viewers the ability to sit down for a quick watch and appreciate a complete experience. Having relatively quick rounds makes it easier for players to fit games into their schedule, resulting in a more reasonable time commitment, at least for casual play. The majority of games dominating streamed play favor competition over cooperation. Competitive games create unpredictability and tension, making them interesting and exciting to watch. This isn't to say that cooperative play isn't interesting. However, purely cooperative play is by necessity a PvE conflict. Predefined challenges eventually run out, and procedurally generated levels or AI-driven foes aren't yet quite at the level where they can match the intrigue of human opponents on a massive scale. Strategic depth is another factor to consider. Tic-tac-toe is a competitive multiplayer game, but its small possibility space means that the optimal strategy is easy to understand. Games are too short to feel meaningful and are almost immediately boring to watch. In addition to making content feel less predictable, strategic depth also appeals to a viewer's curiosity and desire to learn. The experience of, or possibility to develop complex strategies creates implicit learning opportunities for the audience, as well as giving creators the possibility of hosting informational content like tips for improving play. Games with sandbox elements, base building, and similar features can help satisfy players' creative inclination. They also serve as another way to expand a game's possibility space, keeping viewers on the hook for a potentially unique experience. Most notably, they give content creators the opportunity to inject personality into their gameplay, which can make a stream feel more personal and engaging. Like competition, creative or sandbox elements boost the variation viewers can expect to see from a single game. Additionally, just as strategic depth can appeal to viewer curiosity and interest in learning, so too can features focused on creativity. In service to the social motivations underlying our desire to spectate, mechanics that promote social interaction can make for a more interesting viewer experience. Giving players more chances to interact through gameplay or communication as part of their design can help audiences to connect with creators as well. A similar appeal can apply to games with an active tournament scene, where viewers can watch their favorite players compete and interact with one another. Players interact with games and spectators watch, but with a captive audience of tens, hundreds, thousands, or more, can those spectators become active participants themselves? Game streaming has lots of interactive potential. In practice, we can let viewers take part of the action, thanks to real-time communication and APIs offered by services like Twitch. Why audiences might be motivated to participate in such interactions blend the reasons people have for playing games with those for watching games. After watching a stream for a while, you might feel more comfortable trying your hand at playing whatever's on offer, reducing any barriers to entry in terms of knowledge or skill. Being acknowledged by a well-known creator can be a satisfying brush with fame. Lastly, the always-on nature of streaming means that if your friends are offline, providing much more personal interactions than faceless strangers found through multiplayer matchmaking. No matter how this particular design avenue ends up shaking out, it does present some interesting opportunities. More in-depth viewer interactions may prove themselves capable of drawing in a larger audience and transforming that audience into something more. There are several different ways to facilitate audience interaction with live game content. Such interactions may be as trivial as highlighting commentary from the crowd, or as dramatic as lifting viewers out of the audience to play for a match. While some of the features we will discuss aren't specific to live streaming interactions, many of these are. Let's look at some of these features, starting with the most basic and stepping forward in order of increasing engagement. Services like Twitch and YouTube offer basic features like text chat amongst viewers. Other interactions include making monetary donations to highlight a message on stream, or paying for a subscription to a favorite content creator. These features provide audience members with an easy way to interact with one another and show support for the content they enjoy. Basic interactions like text chat can factor into your game's design. Development-wise, this is just a matter of finding the right tools, like Twitch's extensions, API, or suitable chatbots compatible with the platforms you plan to support. Such tools let you transform things like chat messages into commands, which you might use to support some more engaging features. This is where the will of the viewer has a tangible impact on gameplay. How viewers achieve this impact and the degree to which it affects a game can vary substantially. This can be as simple as collectively voting on which map to choose for a round of play, or individually having the power to spawn in items or enemies. A natural challenge that arises with this type of design is that if a game is dependent on audience interaction, it may have trouble reaching the popularity needed to sustain a sizable audience. Shallower viewer mechanics implemented through something like polls or text commands are challenging to hold up as the core of a game. Instead, they should be treated as a supplement to a game which is enjoyable without them, as an enhancement to a complete experience, rather than a building block. Any game that supports user-created content is a natural fit of streamers to interact with their audience by playing with content their viewers create. This might include map making, character creation, or an active support for mods, all of which are a boon to player creativity in general. One thing to keep in mind here is that a user-created content system should come with some means for players to preview and censor content if need be. This is important in any context, but particularly if you anticipate that a player might be happening upon some content for the first time in front of a large crowd. The most in-depth form of interaction an audience can have with a live stream is to become players themselves. In its most basic form, this can be accomplished through text commands. More direct participation has seen a good degree of success, particularly in the genre carved out by Jackbox titles. While fun as a local experience in their own right, these games work exceptionally well on live streams, where audience members can join in first come first serve or queue up for a chance to play on larger streams. While making the leap from viewer to player isn't necessarily for everyone, the possibilities offered by interacting with live streams further diversify the experiences games can offer. It remains to be seen whether these types of interactions will be a short-lived gimmick that never really takes off, or the future of online content creation. But at any rate, streaming is certainly there to stay. In making our games more watchable or perhaps even playable by those that lend their time to spectate, our designs can adapt to improve the experience of people immersed in this new medium. Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out the book for more examples of streaming or viewer interactions in games. You can scan the QR code here to be taken to the store page. In the book, you will also find an exclusive interview with Chris Alexander, an assistant professor at Toronto Metropolitan University and eSports competitor.